Hi. So today I thought I'll make a little short, quick and dirty video on how to deal with the NPCs in your life. So an NPC is a non-player character, basically a physical human body controlled by a program. Now, these programs are run by the third parties, and those third parties are basically the beings that kind of like got you here on Earth and are making sure that your life is somewhat limited, that you can't really access your abilities and you can't achieve your dreams, or you can't do as much as you should or could. So with that in mind, you might have noticed some people in your life where someday you just leave your home and one thing after another keeps on happening, and seems like some people act like more of a computer program where they just come into your life, act weird, you never see them, or sometimes you see them a lot, but every time you see them, every time you meet them, there's that trigger, like, God damn it, like they piss you off, they make you angry, they make you feel bad, wrong, guilty, and a lot of these negative emotions. Now, as NPC's job, the program is run to mess with you. So the first thing to do to deal with it is to identify what is that NPC does that triggers you. What is it that they say? What is it that they do or don't say, don't do, have or not have that might trigger you? Let's say for me, the most usual scenario would be I'm living on a 10th floor in the apartment. So from a 10th floor, I'm going down, and every time I go down, it's like there's this lady, and she just aggressively attacks and yells at me for your dogs are not allowed in the elevator, blah, blah, blah. And she's all mad. And like every time she sees me with her dog, she just yells at me. Basically, she just doesn't like dogs. Now, for me, it would piss me off. Like, hey, lady, like, we're not doing anything. We're just passing by. We're not causing any problems or whatever. Like, it would piss me off. And then at the same time, it would make me feel like, hey, I feel like sort of I'm a criminal. Like I'm doing something bad and I'm not supposed to. I've seen everyone else do that, but I feel really guilty. And so I ended up studying the laws of owning a pet, and having them in an apartment, and what are the requirements, can they even be in the elevator. And hey, I'm in the right, dogs are totally allowed in the elevators and everything else. You just got to make sure that, let's say, people agree to go with you. Like if you have a dog, people are okay going with you, or you pass them by, but like that's it. So I'm fully good. But the moment I realized that, like, hey, I'm in the right, there it is, the law proves it, I never saw the lady since. I could meet her every day and she could be yelling and really get mad. And after finding that out, like, very clear. Okay, other scenario. For me, it's like, I didn't used to get out that much before having a dog. So a lot of this started after I got a dog, because like I finally go out and I meet people and I meet NPCs as well. And, hey, finally they can find a way to mess with me. Next step, or let's say I have a dog. We're coming back home after a walk, and there's this lady, and she's far away, and she just sees me and the dog and starts yelling at me, like, put the nozzle on your fucking dog. And she's just like trying to provoke us. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, like just gonna try to pass by, like we're not doing anything bad. And so she's literally on the other end of the parking lot, and the distance is massive. And she's yelling and running at me, just trying to, piss off my dog or something, and just like really expressing her emotions. And it's all like negative and yelling and all this stuff. And I go home, I read laws, boom, I find like, hey, you don't have to, your dog doesn't need to have a nozzle unless they show behaviors of aggression, like just like all the rules followed. I'm like, okay, we're good, like we're fine. So never again meet her. So from my perspective, with all the incidents I've had, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with me and the dog, but going out and meeting people, I would have to become aware of, what is it that these people or NPCs do that triggers me? How is the program run to mess with me? And I have to react to it. If I would react, if I would get pissed off, if they get me off the track, like let's say I'm feeling good, I'm going to have a great dog walk, I'm like ready, I'm all happy. And then I meet these people and they really like stir up things. It's like, oh, God damn it. Like, I'm just like trying to live my own life. And they're just expressing and yelling and being loud and making me feel like I'm the bad guy and everything else. So with all that, I became aware of how they trigger me, specific things they say, they do, and all this stuff. And once I paid attention and found a solution or something that would prove that I am in the right and I'm good, all these problems stop. Let's say little things where people will just come up and start like acting weird with a different behavior, they're trying to trigger you. The program is run, like the rule for the program is to mess with you one way or the other. If the program can get you to react and you all of a sudden get pissed off, you react to them, you yell back at them, or you're trying not to engage, but you leave, and a few minutes afterwards, you think about it. You end up like really get involved in it emotionally. You think about it a lot and all. You're still the victim of it. So in order to escape being a victim, understanding what is it that they say and do that triggers you, it's like, okay, yeah, I feel guilty when I do this and they do that. Or, like you just covered the case of what's going on. When you're clear about it for yourself, then you need to find a solution for what it is that you need to do, say, not do, have, or know to not feel guilt anymore. And let's say for me, it was just like finding the proof, like, hey, I know the laws now. So no matter what people say, the law is like covering up for me. Like, like, hey, I am in the right. And these people, if they feel bad, like they're just like, they just don't like dogs. That's it. Or they just don't like my dog or me, and that's fine. But now, like anything I would grab, I am in the right. Now all of a sudden, all these problems end. And for me, like sometimes there are days when there's going to be a lot of triggers. Like let's say today, like a landlord comes, so I have to clean up and everything else. Like, like great. But then just one thing after another, just small little incidents. It seems like nothing, but it starts building up, and you just have to like be, I don't know, like a dam holding all of these emotions and incidents and everything else happening to not let yourself react. And if you stay in control of your emotions and don't feed the program with you bursting up with emotions and feeling bad, wrong, guilty, angry, rageful, and anything like that, if you're like maintaining your cool, so to speak, and you're like, yeah, I know you're messing with me, I know you're a program, and I'm like, I can like control myself and I can be in the right. I can still focus on my goals and what I'm doing. If I can sort of like maintain my goals, or like, let's say, hey, I'm not going to get distracted by that crap, I notice that it all falls apart. So notice the triggers, notice how they mess with you. What is it that they're trying to do? Where you're driving and, you might have a road thing where people are like going to be tracking you and like riding your back, so to speak. Or let's say you meet people and they say certain things, people or like your neighbors littering, or like getting in your space, being in your private space and everything else. You need to find ways how to deal with your emotions, but also find a way how you can be in the right and take control. For me, taking control and being in the right was like learning the laws, and now like, hey, I have proof. No matter who says what, I can prove that I'm in the right and I can do what I'm doing. But I know some people that are dealing with this hard stuff. For example, my dear friend has a great place she lives in, and then the neighbor comes in her private place and just like stands there and watches like, hey, dude, like this place doesn't belong to you, and don't even get involved in my private space. Like there are people who are like neighbors, just get involved in your, let's say you have trees and everything else, and all of a sudden they're doing stuff for you. But like, I don't like doing it, like anyone else getting involved in my space, get out. So dealing with that like is another thing, like learning like, okay, here's what they do that triggers me. And then just like trying to find, let's say, laws, like maybe good luck if that is gonna like help you out, but like finding ways to deal with them, getting a fence and like making sure no one can get in or something, like lots of ways. Good luck. I'm not the best at offering those solutions and all this stuff, but for me, I've learned that, let's say, if I find that I can be in the right and I can maintain my cool and I don't overreact to the programs, they stop. So you might try it as well. And if you have these incidents in your life where you meet an NPC, they act crazy, like, hey, leave your thing in the comments, leave your experience, because a lot of people are dealing with it, and, like we're not talking about it as much. So we feel like we're being sort of crazy, or like, damn, it's just us. Like, what's wrong with the world or me, and there's nothing wrong with you. It's just, they're third parties. The game is rigged and they're messing with you to stop you, to distract you, to mess with you. And so pay attention, maintain your cool, and try to win. So yeah, that's a quickie. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.